find out is that life and politics and history are ironic. They're all ruled by the law of unintended consequences. You may think you know what you're doing, but a lot of the time you don't, and you get a far different result from anything you might have anticipated. That actually happened to me, for example, in advocating, which I'm still proud of doing, for the removal of Saddam Hussein. I didn't know that policy would end up the way it did, and I criticize myself in the book for some of the ways that happened.
But net, you think it was good that
that life is worth living, that friendship is incredibly important. I go on a lot about my friends and how they've made my life worth living, and I even say at one point that friends are God's apology for relations. And I hope I describe some interesting people.
Martin, of course, being...
Young Amos is very important. He's been my best friend for a very long time, and I hope I give a good portrait of what he's like and why it is that he's been such an incredibly successful, both comic and serious novelist. He's one of those people who, as he put it once, if he accuses someone of having no sense of humor, he means to impugn their sense of seriousness.
How do you choose your friends?
I don't. I mean, again, one's lucky. They choose you, if you like. It can't be arranged. It has to occur.
You once said, I'd rather have an argument than be bored. It's some insecurity of mine. I find it hard not to win. I'm not good at conceding. That hasn't made me easy to live with.
Yeah.
Is that a big part of your life, those kinds of confrontations?
Well, because the important arguments matter a lot to me, and I spend a lot of time making sure that as far as I can, I make the best possible case for a cause that I'm committed to. It carries over a bit into my private life. I don't like to give way on a point, even when it's pretty small.
At least you're man enough to admit that.
I'm always sort of feeling that, the cause is at stake, and I think that's definitely a deformity. And if there are any guys listening, I hope there are. I hope they take a lesson. It's not always necessary to win every point.
Let me ask you about your moment of becoming an American citizen, which only happened a couple of years ago, and it was Michael Chertoff, who I believe swore you in, so to speak, to the country. What was the meaning of that for you? Well,
after 9/11, I was an Englishman living in America. I'd been here nearly a quarter of a century, if not a bit more. I had a green card that was so old it didn't have an expiration date. I had American children, 3 of them, American wife, and a European Union passport. I could have gone on like that for the rest of my life. But I began to feel I was cheating on my dues. The country had been very nice to me, incredibly welcoming. I identified very much with it after the terrible attack on its society made by these theocratic barbarians. There was a lot of loose and stupid anti-American talk among my European friends. Well, not friends, but among my fellow Europeans, let's say. And I thought, I really ought to take the next step. I'm fully identified. It would be patriotic to take the next step and become an American properly. And I took my oath at the Jefferson Memorial in Washington. Thomas Jefferson and I'm his biographer in a very small way.
Yes.
Share a birthday.
Huh.
And it was extremely confirming. And I have a whole chapter about what it's like becoming an American and how the long process by which I made the transition.
Well, I know we only scratched the surface because there's so much to this book. It's called Hitch-22, a memoir. Christopher Hitchens. I thank you so much, Christopher, for talking to us
it's a pleasure
today. Thanks so much.